Hello, welcome back. Here we are again, back in our mixing series. I'm back from London, had a really good weekend, met up with some friends, some family, did some business. Really cool weekend, really pleased with how things turned out. So here we are, let's march on with this mixing series. I'm going to just play a little quick clip of where we got to. Last week we did the kick drum. I'm going to move on to the snare. So let's just have a little blast of where we're at with the whole mix.
On my way.
Okay, you've heard this before, and if you haven't already downloaded it, then more fool you. Anyway, let's put some solos in place so that I don't disappear. We can just listen to our drums now. So this is what we've got with our mixed kick, what we had with a bit of bass going on. I might look at this kick out mic again. I don't know. We'll see. Or I might use the original kick out mic. I'm not sure if something's gone wrong when I use Drumaton with it or what, but it doesn't sound right. So, right, let's move on. We've got a snare top. This is another one of my favourite mics. Let's solo it out and have a listen. Again, we're missing a little bit of transient, so let's switch in Transient Monster. Now, I didn't mention this before, but how I'm putting these online and offline is I'm pressing on Shift and Control and clicking on them, and that brings it online. Now, if you click Shift and click, it will bypass the effect, but it's still online. Whereas if you press Shift and Control, you can put the whole thing totally offline. You can see it turns red there. So let's bring that online and bring it in. So it's a little Transient Monster. Same thing as I did with the kick. It just needed a little bit of a... not too much, just to give a little bit of the transient back that we lost from the Drumaton processing. That'll do for now. So if we leave that at that, and then we just go straight to my favourite all-rounder Fab filter, and let's bring that in, have a listen. I mean, there's nothing really that worries me too much about this drum, to be honest. If we just bring... possibly that there, just a little bit. I'm not even that sure it bothers me that much, but we'll take a little bit of that out. But there was something down here that I liked a lot, actually. Let's just tighten the cue up a bit. There was a nice, really nice there it is. I like that. So it's a nice kind of round frequency. I mean, we can see that it's one of the fundamentals of the kick drum, the snare drum, sorry, that's there. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is my kind of corrective EQ. I might actually, let's just drop out some unwanted nonsense down there. Where are we at the moment? About 50 Hertz. It doesn't affect anything. So I'm going to leave that in, take everything up below there so that we get rid of any nonsense that's down there. So let's just stop that a minute. Now we're going to move on. Now we're going to get kind of generalized. This is where I kind of go analog EQ to try and create an effect. I'm not going precision here. If you want to go any more precision with your snare drum, then do it with FabFilter or Rear EQ or whatever it is you want to use. I'm now going, I don't hear any more problem frequencies in there at the moment. That might change as the mix goes on, okay? And we'll see how this progresses. So let's bring in the ships. He's in, yep. Now I've got this set up to all the frequencies that I usually go to, okay? Doesn't mean that's exactly what I'm going to use, but this is my starting point. So let's just have a listen again. I like that little boost I got on the low end from FabFilter, but I don't know, I might want a little bit more. I just wanted a bit more on a shelf there, okay? I think that's nice. The mids, I always start with it set about 7.2, crank it up, have a listen. Drag it back until I find a sweet spot there. Do you hear that? If you just crank it right up, it's too much, okay? But drag it back. If I take that out, now you hear the difference. Bring it in. It's a little bit too much. There. You hear that? It brings out the snares, it brings out that rattle. That's what I'm wanting. Now this high shelf is stuck at a 12K shelf. So let's bring it in. Again, too much. Oh, wow. Let's just even that as well. Right there. Now another aspect of this EQ is that we can drive it a little bit on the input, and I've got it linked so that the output goes down. This is a bit too much. I mean, we can alternative, we can boost a little bit more on the preamp if we bring it in. Push this up. And if I normalise that and that, a little bit dull, that brings a little bit more character. Possibly too much on this one. Just pull it back. Yeah. So I'm kind of happy with that there. So let's have a listen to that within the kick. Let's bring the kit. Sorry, the kit, not the kick. Yeah, that sounds like a snare. I like that. That's a snare drum. Just while we're at it, let's bring in that snare bottom and see what we've got. Okay, is it going to help us? Possibly. Let's just check that's on a nice level. It's adding something, it's adding a little bit underneath there. I'll leave that in. That's cool, okay. So that's my snare drum. Now, it's okay, it's great. I would like to get a little bit more life in it. So I'm going to use my favourite head crusher, which is totally free. And I'm just going to dial in a little bit of this. I'm going to put a little bit of low cut on it. Here it just extends the length of the snare a little bit. You can use Sound Toys distortion on this as well, which is another one I use sometimes. You know, as always, this is my latest favourite at the moment. I love this. And you can hear, if I take it out and we play this, I'll bring it in, out, in. It just adds a little bit of length to the snare that maybe that snare bottom would usually give if we put it in a room mic or whatever. If I unmute the snare bottom and listen to it this time, sorry. Yeah, I'll leave it in for now, but I'm not totally convinced, but we'll leave it in for the moment. Next thing I want to do, let's move along. I'm going to kind of move through and mix the drums in essays, but I'll probably have to clip it up along the way and make the videos shorter. I want to just give a quick listen to the overheads now on their own. So if we solo out the overheads and unsolo the rest of the kit, because like I said before, the overheads, I will put a graphic up of this. I tend to, I'll use my hand. Say you've got the kick drum here. How do you do this? Kick drum here, you've got the snare drum here. I like to draw a line between the centre of both. So say that's the front of the kick drum facing the audience, and the snare drum slightly to the side here. I'll go from the beater of the kick through the centre of the snare, so you get this kind of diagonal line, and that's where I'll place my overheads along that diagonal line. So if I want more overheads, I move them forward. If I want just more kit, I move it backwards, and that's kind of how I make my kit. Depending, if I want more stereo, I move them out. If I want less stereo, I move them in. But I always keep that line between the beater of the kick drum and the centre of the snare on that axis, and keep the mics the same distance along that line. I hope that makes sense. I will try and find a way of doing a graphic to show you, but anyway, but that's how I treat my overheads. I want to keep them as a cover of the whole kit. I'm not interested in just cymbal mics. I want to hear the whole kit in these overheads, and then use the close mics to augment what I record of the kick. So let's have a listen to this whole kit, okay? Now remembering we're in mono at the moment, so let's just forget that. Let's concentrate on the sound. Yeah, there's a nasty frequency there that's just from the mics, I think, in the room. So I'm just pulling that out with a kind of shallow. I'll cut off a bit of muddy shit down here. Now let's bring in the Pooitech, and I just like to, you can do this with that free Pooitech EQ I showed you from I can't remember the name, but you've seen it before. What I want to do is just at 100, I'm going to boost, maybe 3 dB, and at 10k, I'm going to give it a little boost. Yeah. About there. Switch this off. Okay, I'll switch this out. So that snare comes up there. Can I put a smiley face EQ on the Pool Tech, but I've augmented it by cutting a little bit out of the mids here, or the lower mids, with the fab filter. And if I switch all of that out and bring it in, just brings it a lot closer to you and much fuller. It's more like a recording of a whole kit. Now let me just show you very quickly. If we bring in the kick and the snare, in fact these could do with coming down a little bit. You're starting to get a picture of where I'm heading to with this kit. It's like a nice full roomy kit with these augmented mics in there that are going to give the punch, you know, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I mean, I'm happy from there with what the overheads are doing. The toms we'll move on to very quickly before we go to parallel compression. I will probably put parallel compression in a totally separate video, so let's just concentrate on getting this tom group in here, and let's find some toms before we do that. So let's see what we got. There was a better bit to this here. Yeah, so we've got everything in there. Let's draw a circle around that and loop it. Okay, so let's bring back our mixer, and if we look at our tom group, I've level matched the toms. They didn't need any level matching, so I didn't do anything, but I'm going to treat them as one thing now within here, again with the fab filter. So let's solo them out. I'll get rid of these lot. Now I'm not too worried about that actually, to be honest. Bring in the Pro Q. Let's just drop a little bit off the bottom. I think if anything, there's something there. It's just that buzzing there on one of them. Yeah, it's about there somewhere. But I don't want to suck the life out of it, so it's there. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with that. But I think we could maybe boost a little bit of the bottom end. Just a touch. And we can take away some of this top to get rid of the cymbals. Okay, so in the whole kit, and once again I'm going to start up the Puritek, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to boost about 100 for a couple of dB just to give them, and I might do about 5k and give it a bit of a boost. Just to give them a little bit of a click and a hit there, and I'm happy with that. So to me, the kit now is pretty much how I want it to be. I'm not going to go into my kick and snare crush and whatnot in this video. I'll probably split this video into two anyway, because this is probably getting along. Where are we now? We're about 20 minutes. So we'll see how I can split it up. But anyway, that's how we'll leave it for now. I hope that's been useful, and I hope we're marching on. And please, if you want to download the full Reaper file that you can mix this song yourself, it's got the raw audio files as I recorded them on it. There's no plugins or anything. It's just the raw tracking Reaper file that I tracked. As I said in the other video, all you got to do is subscribe to my channel, send me a message, and I will send you a Dropbox link, and you can download it and mix it yourself. Okay? I mean, obviously all rights are reserved by the songwriter, but this is just for you guys to mix and practice, and yeah, and let's compare results and have a bit of a community going. So hope this was useful, hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye now.